The lullaby was never meant to be heard again. On a storm-heavy night when the city lights flickered like dying stars, a trembling melody slipped through the cracked window of an old apartment. It was soft, haunting, and heartbreakingly familiar. Daniel froze mid-step, his breath caught somewhere between disbelief and fear. Because the woman who used to sing that lullaby was dead. Or at least, that's what he had believed for the last 8 years. Daniel Carter had built his life on silence. After losing his wife, Elena, in what was ruled a tragic car accident, he shut himself off from the world. Music, once his soul, became a painful reminder. Their home, once filled with laughter and late-night piano sessions, turned into a museum of memories he couldn't touch. But the lullaby, it was theirs. A melody Elena composed the night their daughter, Lily, was born. She used to hum it every night, holding Lily close, her voice wrapping the room in warmth. And now, it echoed again. At first, Daniel thought it was grief playing tricks on him. Maybe loneliness had finally cracked his mind. But when Lily, now 10 years old, quietly walked into the room and whispered, "Daddy, Mommy is singing again," something inside him broke. Because Lily remembered it too. The next night, Daniel followed the sound. It led him through narrow streets soaked in rain, past flickering streetlights, until he reached an abandoned theater at the edge of the city. The place had been closed for years, its walls worn and forgotten. Yet from inside, the lullaby drifted like a ghost refusing to rest. With shaking hands, Daniel pushed the door open. The theater was dim, dust floating in the air like suspended time. On the stage, under a single spotlight, sat a woman at a piano. Her back was to him. Her fingers moved gently over the keys, playing the lullaby with the same fragile grace he remembered. Every note felt like a wound reopening. "Elena?" His voice cracked. The music stopped. Slowly, the woman turned. It was her. Or at least, it looked like her. Same eyes, same face, same presence that once made him feel alive. But there was something different, something distant. Her eyes held no recognition, no warmth, just confusion and fear. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "Do I know you?" The words hit harder than any truth he had ever faced. Daniel's world shattered for the second time. Over the next few days, Daniel returned again and again. The woman introduced herself as Anna. She had no memory of being Elena, no recollection of a husband or a child. She only remembered waking up 2 years ago, rescued from an accident with no identity, no past. The authorities had closed her case as unknown survivor. But Daniel couldn't accept it. The lullaby was proof. The way her fingers danced over the piano, the way her voice carried emotion she couldn't explain, it was Elena. He began to dig deeper. The accident report from 8 years ago suddenly felt incomplete. Missing files, altered timestamps, witness statements that didn't align. Someone had lied. Meanwhile, Lily insisted on visiting Anna. At first, Daniel hesitated. He didn't want to confuse his daughter. But something unexpected happened. Lily and Anna connected. Not through memory, but through emotion. Anna would smile around Lily in a way she didn't with anyone else. She would hum the lullaby without realizing it, especially when Lily was near. Sometimes she would even reach out and brush Lily's hair gently, as if guided by instinct rather than thought. It was as if her heart remembered, even if her mind refused. But the truth came with a cost. Daniel discovered that Elena's death had been staged. She had witnessed something the night of the accident, something dangerous enough that powerful people wanted her silenced. Instead of killing her, they erased her identity, placing her into a hidden protection program without consent. Her memories were medically suppressed. Her past stolen. Daniel was furious, not just at the people who did this, but at the system that allowed it. Elena had been alive all these years, and he had mourned her like she was gone forever. The biggest challenge now wasn't finding her. It was bringing her back. But could he? Should he? Doctors warned that forcing memory recovery could cause severe trauma. Her mind had buried the past to survive. Bringing it back might break her completely. Daniel stood at a crossroads. Keep her safe, but loss. Or risk everything to restore the truth. One night, as rain fell once again, Lily asked him a question that changed everything. If Mommy doesn't remember us, do we stop loving her? Daniel couldn't answer immediately. But in that silence, he realized something. Love isn't memory. Love is presence. Love is choice. The next day, Daniel didn't bring evidence, photos, or documents to Anna. He brought a piano. He sat beside her and began to play. Slowly, carefully, the lullaby. At first, Anna just watched. Confused, curious. Then, something shifted. Her fingers twitched. Her breathing changed. Tears welled up in her eyes without reason. And then she joined in. Their hands moved together across the keys, completing the melody as if no time had passed. Fragments flashed in her mind. A hospital room. A newborn's cry. Daniel's laughter. Lily's tiny fingers wrapped around hers. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice trembling. He looked at her, afraid to hope. I don't remember everything," she said, tears falling freely now. "But I feel it. I feel you. I feel us." That was enough. In that moment, Daniel understood the final truth. The twist wasn't that Elena had lost her memory. The twist was that love had never left. They didn't need to recover every detail of the past. They could rebuild together. The legal battle that followed was long and painful. Exposing the truth wasn't easy. There were threats, pressure, moments when Daniel thought they would lose everything again. But this time, he wasn't alone. Elena stood beside him. Not as the woman she used to be, but as the woman she chose to become. And Lily, she became the bridge between their past and their future. Years later, the abandoned theater reopened. Renamed as the Last Lullaby. On opening night, the hall was filled. Daniel stood backstage, watching as Elena walked toward the piano under a warm spotlight. Lily stood beside her, holding her hand. Elena looked at the audience, then at her family. She smiled and began to play. The same lullaby that once echoed through loss now filled the room with something stronger. Hope. Because sometimes life doesn't give you your story back the way it was. Sometimes it gives you a second chance to write it again. And that can be even more beautiful.